Hello BookTube, and I'm doing a book haul video. Strangely, I have a book, well, there's a few books that I've bought myself over the past month or so, I guess, which I haven't shown. Um, and I'll do those first, and then I've one of my viewers, and I don't know who it is, has sent me books yesterday and today. I got a stack of them here so far, and with a note saying more to come. So, whoever you are, thank you, and what you've been sending is fabulous. So, yeah, anybody wants to send me books? Well, I'm open. So, but let's get to ones that I've bought for myself. This is a very ugly book. All it is just a little bit on the spine and the ISBN. It's the plasticized, but it doesn't show anything. It's very, very odd because it's not usually this has it's pictorial, the plastic sort of thing. It's called Hollywood Vault: Film Libraries Before Home Video. Eric Hoyt, University of California Press, 2014. Now, the odd thing about this is I found it for less than £2 from a seller on Amazon. Free shipping. It said new. I didn't believe it, but I figured, well, okay, I can spend the £1.80 some, I think it was, for it. And it's come. And I'm assuming this is correctly bound and everything too, just an ugly way. It's not a print on demand. And yeah, and the shipping on I think was £3.58. So there's just no rhyme or reason to it. I don't understand, but I'm happy to get it. Going to my film library, which is great. Another one that came today was something that's I'd been looking at it for a while. Jason Harrigan showed it on his channel just recently. Brilliant Discourse: Pictures and Readers in Early Modern Rome by Evelyn Lincoln. And it's University of Yale, or Yale University Press, I should say. And 2014 as well. It's nicely illustrated. And it's a book about books. About the illustrations, mostly. It seems to be. And this, yeah, then when he showed it again, I thought, oh, well, I should take a look at that again. I was curious. And yeah, I got it for £4.83 or something like that. And that came today. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Now, older ones too. That one came recently. Now, we're looking at a few older ones. This is London After Midnight. This is an English translation of the 1929 French novelization of the lost Lon Chaney film that's 1927. Edited with a preface and afterward by Thomas Mann. No, not that Thomas Mann. Translation of Lucien Boisvin's novel Londres après minuit by Kieran O'Driscoll, or however it's pronounced. The author's Lucien Boisvin. It's by Bear Manor Media, 2018. And I'm sort of glad to get it. It was, again, very cheap, but they're very poor in reproducing photographs in their books. Very poor. Which lets it down quite a bit. They are all print on demand, but I've wanted this for a while, but I just wasn't willing to pay, I think, the 20-some pounds for it, but when it was under £2, yes. And another one I was excited to get. It was just over £3. Yeah, I'm showing off, I guess you would call it, but you can get some deals occasionally. This here is Radio's Civic Ambition, American Broadcasting and Democracy in the 1930s, for in America, obviously. David Goodman. It's Oxford University Press, and it is 2011. And this is sort of right up my street with a lot of, with radio. But it's a disturbing trend, I guess, that Oxford University Press is going to. And it's a print-on-demand book. And like that other one, the black one I showed you, was the cover price of £70. I don't know if I'd be happy to pay that for it. And this one, like, if I spent 60 or 80 or whatever this one was, and got this print on demand, I don't think I'd be too happy. This one's quite exciting. Under the Shadow: The Atomic Bomb and Cold War Narratives by David Seed. And that is Kent State University Press. It's Atomic Bomb and Cold War Narratives, 2013. And it has some film in it, but it's mostly talking about sort of post-apocalyptic nuclear war type books. It talks about your Pat Frank's Alas Babylon, which is a fabulous book. There's an interesting thing with it. You see, there's a little airplane there. There it is there. It's moving, well, it's moving backwards, but I should have showed it on the other side. And at each page, it moves all the way across to the other side here. See? And it's just an oddity that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's supposed to say anything or mean anything, but it's just interesting to see that. There was one other thing. I couldn't find it. I sort of, if I lost it and it got thrown out, I don't care. I needed to buy, because I no longer have Prime on Amazon. So when I got those, I needed to make £10 for free shipping. And I was like £1, I think, 23 off or something like that. Excuse me. And so I needed something that was cheap. £1 wasn't enough. I needed, a little more. So I found something. It was a book of poetry. I can't remember. Anyway, I'll just describe it. It's horrible. But I thought for £1.26 it was worth a try, and it saved me £3.99 for shipping. But it's a woman who's supposed to be channeling dead actresses and actors of classic Hollywood, and it's got Dracula and stuff. Just horrid poetry, but it's got all these blurbs on it saying how great it is, but oh god, it's bad. Now we get to this pile of my book benefactor. That's all I can say. I don't know who you are. This one, the top one here, is fabulous. Writing in Light: The Silent Scenario and the Japanese Pure Film Movement. It's without a dust jacket, which doesn't matter to me. It's Wayne State University Press by Joan Bernardi, published in 2001. And it is about Japanese silent film, which I've seen very few and know very little about. So this will be very nice. And this was a sort of a bit of an oddity. It goes with my African stuff. Got a bit of damage there, but that's fine. It's probably a used copy or a damaged, store-bought copy. This is A Labyrinth of Kingdoms, 10,000 Miles Through Islamic Africa, Steve Kempler. This is the story of Heinrich Barth, who in 1850 spent he traveled 10,000 miles through northern Islamic Africa, northern Africa, and then published his journals in 5 volumes. It's something that I've always wanted. I didn't even know this book existed. Otherwise, I would have probably bought this before. It's a Norton publication, 2012. I was blissfully unaware of it, but you know, I'm gonna love reading this, and I'd love to get the. I've always wanted it's 5 volumes, but I could never get it. The Oxford's reprint series, the yellow volumes, have done it in paperback, but they're like £45 each. So you add all that up, 5 volumes. It's getting a bit pricey. So I've never pulled the gun on that. Here's another one of a director I'm not that familiar with, a British director, Thor Dickinson, A World of Film, edited by Philip Horn and Peter Schwab. Also, it's great stuff because it is. I've seen some of his films, but I just don't know anything about the director. And this is Manchester University Press, 2008. And it's a lot of writings. Well, actually, yeah, there's quite a bit of writings of Thor Dickinson. It's got 1924, 1969, 1932. So yeah, this is going to be nice. It's going to be something I will learn a lot from. Here's a nice one. There's 2. They're mixed up here now. 2 Cambridge monographs. This is David J. Shepard, The Bible on Silent Film, Spectacle, Story, Scripture in the Early Cinema. This is just beautiful. It is Cambridge, as I say, 2013, and it's just the Bible, done on silent screen. So you're gonna have, I assume, there's gonna be even mentioning Ben-Hur in here, the silent version, but definitely the 10 Commandments and other ones, the Ark and so forth. Just fabulous silent films, just big spectacular epics. Here's another one that sounds fabulous. The Emergence of Film Culture, Knowledge Production, Institution Building, and the Fate of the Avant-Garde in Europe, 1919 to 1945, by Malte Hagner. That there is from... sorry, my brain is just all of a sudden gone into brain fog mode. I can't remember the. It's not Renoir. It's a famous film. It's a short film, and the guy's got a razor, and it shows him cutting, there's a cut and cutting his eyeball, her eyeball, but it's not if you watch, it's a sheep or a goat, that dead goat, and you can see the fur all over the cheeks. So it clearly wasn't the actress that was there. But this looks just fabulous. I hate this brain fog. I just can't think of things at time. I think everybody gets that problem occasionally, but it's just totally out of control now. But it's Berghahn is the publisher. There's just great titles in this series. Film Europa, German cinema in the international context is another one, and just a whole bunch. It sounds quite interesting, a series. Another hardcover without dust jacket. Exeter University Press, The World According to Hollywood, 1918 to 1939. And I had a little look at this. This looks like it's sort of how um, Hollywood, sort of its grasp and spread over the world films, and that looks quite interesting. It's, as I say, Exeter University Press, or the University of Exeter Press, 1997, and they do some fabulous film books. And as usual, I think it probably did originally have a dust jacket, but then for some reason they would have run out of dust jackets. They didn't print as many, and then they just started selling it as a naked hardcover without the dust jacket. So it's an odd thing that some publishers do. They don't make enough dust jackets. This one looks quite nice. It's really weird. The pages are all rippled a bit, though. Not quite sure why, but it's got a dampness smell to it. That's why. But it's a fabulous title: "City of Darkness, City of Light." Emigre filmmakers in Paris, 1929 to 1939. Alistair Phillips, the Amsterdam University Press. This just looks fabulous. 2004 published. Yeah, it's got rippling to the pages, so hopefully that'll rectify itself. This is really interesting. Another radio book, but not one that I purchased. The First Lady of Radio, Eleanor Roosevelt's Historic Broadcasts, edited by Stephen Drury Smith, with a foreword by Blanche Wiesen Cook. It's a little smaller hardcover. Again, it's fabulous radio stuff. It's the New Press, New York, 2014, and it's got a pretty big introduction with regards to about the transcripts, and it's just literally the transcripts of her talks. So that's great. I don't know if any of the stuff, I don't remember hearing any of them, but I don't know if they're still available or not. Another one. This is the other Cambridge monograph: Poverty, War, and Violence in South Africa, Clifton Crace. It's one of the naked hardcovers. Is it a print? No, it's not a print on demand. It is published 2011, and I think it's sort of an overall survey by the looks of it. But it's also 19th century and 20th century as well. But again, yeah, it's fabulous for my South African collection. This one's really nice. I like this. It is Ernst Lubitsch's The Student Prince of Old Heidelberg. It's a study, the art of classical Hollywood. It's a study of the film and its place. It's Lexington Books, 2018, so it's relatively new, and it's a print on demand as well. You can tell just by the feel of it. Yeah. So it's a short discussion. It's like 180 pages wet with the index. And now we go to a novel, a 1920s novel. Gerald O'Donovan, never heard of him. The Long Silence, 1920s noir mystery. February 1922, Hollywood is young, but already mired in scandal. When a leading movie director is murdered, Irish-American investigator Tom Collins is called in by studio boss Max Sennett, whose troubled star Mabel Normand is rumored to be involved. it sounds it's right up my alley. I'll definitely read that. I'll probably read it sooner than later. It's about 200 pages, so I that's fabulous, and it's somebody I don't know in a genre that I don't know. I kind of like the idea of mysteries, crime fiction set in Hollywood during the 20s. I'm intrigued about that. I think that's kind of cool. Here's a really interesting one, a little different. Um, but it's The Wings of Atlanta, Essays Written Along the Color Line by Mark Richardson. Are you moonlighting, Mark? I'm not lying. This book springs from two premises. The first is that with a nod toward Marion Moore, America has always been, an imaginary place with real people living in it. The second is that slavery and its legacies explain how and why this is the case. The second premise assumes that slavery and, after that, fell, white supremacy generally have been necessary adjuncts to American capitalism. Mark Richardson registers these two premises at the level of style and rhetoric in the texture as much as the arguments of the books he engages. His book is written to appeal to the general reader. It begins with Frederick Douglass, continues with W.E.B. Du Bois, Charles Chesnutt, and Richard Wright, and treats works by writers not often discussed in books concerning race in American literature. For example, Stephen Crane, Jack and Kerouac. Yeah, it sounds quite interesting. It's essays, so I'm more than happy for this. I don't think there's any sort of. No, doesn't look like there's any film related to it. So, but yeah, this is still going to be very interesting. A chapter on Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, the Mephistophelian skepticism of Stephen Crane, Charles Chesnutt, Nowhere to Turn, Richard Wright, Exile as Native Son, and Pleasant Dreams, Reading on the Road. I'll probably not read the final one. This one looks fabulous. Chewed up a bit. Slums on Screen, World Cinema and the Planet of Slums. Igor Kristik. It's paperback, obviously. What's the publisher? Edinburgh University Press. 2017. And it says here, near 1 billion people call slums their home, making it a reasonable claim to describe our world as a planet of slums. But how has this hard and unyielding way of life been depicted on screen? How many filmmakers engaged historically and across the globe with the social conditions that of what is often perceived as the world's most miserable inhabitants? So that looks quite fantastic. Is it far? I haven't really looked at it closely. I don't know how far back it goes. It's gonna, I think, probably encompass. It's gonna be a survey, I think, all through. There should be some. Hopefully, there'll be 1935. I'm hoping there's some silent stuff in here because that'll be interesting to look at. But we'll see. This one is quite interesting, quite fantastic. Hollywood at the Races, Alan Schuback. Film's love affair with the turf. Okay. University Press of Kentucky. Makes sense. 2019. Yeah. And this one you can still buy if anybody's interested in the UK here. I think it's cheap on Amazon. I never heard of it before. So that should be interesting. This one I was aware of. I saw this at a remainder site, and I'd been intrigued with it. I never got it, and I think it disappeared. It's Dark Venus, Maud Allen and the Myth of the Femme Fatale, Wendy Bonaventura. And it's basically Dark Venus considers the late 19th and early 20th century obsession with women as femme fatale. It looks at beliefs about women's bodies and sexuality and how men have responded to the fear and the thrill of dangerous women. One such belief was that women are feral creatures in need of mental and physical constraints. Dancer Maud Allen came to embody the era's dominant image of the dangerous and corrupting female. In 1918, she brought a libel suit case against Noel Billing, MP, who had accused her in print of lesbianism. It seems almost incredible now, but there was a belief in some circles that women such as Maud relished the deaths of soldiers of the front, and they found it erotically charged, and that new women, by seeking male freedoms and trying to step away from their allotted role in society, were a cause of the war itself. Yeah, and it's I was interested in it as a part of sort of pre-film stuff, because I don't think there's any film thing in there, but it sounds fantastic, and it's something that I'm glad to have it, because I did miss out on it as a remainder. And here's a big book on Christmas films, The Christmas Movie Book by Thomas A. Christus. It is Crescent Moon Publishers, and the Nightmare Before Christmas is the frontispiece. 2011, and it goes through a lot of films here. Bells of St. Mary's, It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th, Bishop's Wife, Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, 51, the good one, with Alec. No, with brain. The 1951 version, anyway. White Christmas, 54. We're No Angels. That's pretty good with Humphrey Bogart and they're escaped criminals, or they're going to escape. It's set on a tropical island, but over Christmas. The Apartment, 1960. How times has I seen that? I don't remember that had anything to do with Christmas, but okay. Santa Claus conquers the Martians. Yeah, right. Scrooge, 1970. Black Christmas, 74. Trading Places, 83. Christmas Story, 83. Didn't realize Trading Places now it was that old. Jeez. Santa Claus the Movie, 1985. Scrooge, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, A Muppet Christmas Carol, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Santa Claus, Elf, Bad Santa, Noel, Joy Noel, and Christmas Carol 3D. Don't know that one at all. But yeah, no, that's like, I've got a few books on Christmas films, and that's fabulous. This is an oddity. I've wondered about these books. You'll see them on Amazon and other places. This is Hollywood 1939, Volume 28, by Ralph Day. And it's by Forgotten Books, Classic Reprint Series. And I'll read the back first before I do anything. Forgotten Books Classic Reprint Series utilize the latest technology to regenerate facsimiles of historically important writings. Careful attention has been made to accurately preserve the original format of each page whilst digitally enhancing the quality of the aged text. Okay, this is a huge book. It's print on demand. It doesn't even give page number, I don't think, but it's got to be 800 or more pages. And it's a magazine from 1939. That's how it is. That's the whole page on there. Need a magnifying glass to read it. It's like a photocopy of it. So they've taken, you know, you can get PDFs to this online. They've taken the PDFs and just printed them out. It'll be interesting to go through, but I will need a magnifying glass to read the print. The ads are fabulous. They're just fabulous. This for Lux soap. So yeah, so that's very odd. And here's a book that's interesting. It was something that I looked at, I think, last year because I think it showed up fairly cheap on Amazon in the hardcover version. This is the paperback. It's Television Violence and Public Policy by James T. Hamilton, editor, Michigan. It's Michigan University of Michigan Press. 2000. And it's exactly what it says. It's like the debate over the age-based programs rating system implemented by the television industry has generated many questions about television violence and how one defines television violence. So it'll be an interesting. It's essays. I never did get around to buying it, so this is fabulous to have it, and I can peruse it at my leisure, obviously. So that's it. Well, that's it so far of books. So again, thank you, whoever you are. I'm going to start leaving my email below in the description. And if you want to send me books, send me an email. Take care, BookTube.